All right, we are going to have our lesson 5. This is chapter 4, the last chapter. And today we're going to learn how to put in some of these words here. We're going to learn how to drop in individual letters like that. And we're going to learn how to put in paragraphs as well. You can do it with one command called mtext, multi-line text, but I like to show you at first how to do single-line text. I don't use that very often, but it comes in real handy. It's a nice shortcut for just putting in single letters or just a single line like that. So let me show you how you do that. Let's start with the letter A. I'm going to type in A, B, C, D, E, and F over here. And that's here. You come over here. We've been in the Draw and the Modify panels. This is over here in the Annotation panel. And go ahead and drop down Text. And let's do Single Line Text. So single line, and you can see what it says. Start point of the text. And I just happen to pick this because it gives you a standard size. See where I'm stopping? It says, where do I want to start it? Well, the A starts there, so I'm going to start my A right about here. And then it asks me a couple of things. The height, in this case, 3/16. I'm pretty sure that's what I want, so let me go ahead and hit Enter. Yep, that's what I want. The rotation angle, here's 0. I want it like this. I don't want it at 30 or 60. I could put in a rotation angle if I wanted, but I want this perfectly flat. So my rotation angle is 0, so that's spacebar again. It's now waiting for me to put something in there. So I'm going to type in the letter A, and let me go ahead and turn my caps lock on and type in A, and spacebar. Spacebar is not going to get out of it for me. I actually do have to hit Enter at this point. You can see Enter once drops it down that much, so I just hit Enter again, and it pops up that way. So it's not always the most convenient. It's not perfectly intuitive. But you can see A, it's not exactly where I want it to be. I want it to be closer. So let me click on that. I'm going to take my grip and I'm going to move it. Now see how I'm kind of getting the polar tracking's yanking me around. I might accidentally get snapped over and pulled over to that area or that area. Polar tracking's really working against me right now. So just for this, I'm going to turn off those things. I'm going to turn them back on as soon as I need them. But that lets me put it in wherever I want it without getting pushed around to where I don't want to be. So I'm going to move that letter A right there. Now, absolutely, we could type in B, C, D, E, and F. We could put them in exactly the same way. But I find that that just takes a long time. So let's look at a shortcut. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy that letter A. I just hit CO for copy, click on the A, Enter, and I'm going to drop it. I still have my polar tracking, my snaps off, so it's going to go exactly where I put it. So there's where the B and the C, and here's D right here. Here's E. And here is F. Well, that's exactly where I want them, but that's not what I wanted to say. I want it to be the letters of the alphabet there. So what I can do is I'm going to come up here to where it's in the correct spot. It's the wrong letter, a little bit of the easy wrong thing going on here. I'm going to double click on that. And you can see it highlights itself right there. I'm ready to start typing. So all I'm going to type in is B. And to escape, I think I can escape. No, that didn't help me. I did that wrong. So let me click on that again. B is there the way I want it. I have to hit Enter, and there it snaps right out of it. So it's not always obvious. This one I had to enter twice to get out. This one I only had to enter once. So this is a little bit quirky. You just have to play with it. So I'm going to come back here. I just got out of the command. I'm going to click on the command, double click on it. There I go. And now let me put in C there and Enter. I'm out of the command now. Now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to just click on that one. It's a combination of sometimes you double click, sometimes you click. You'll just have to experiment and see what you get. And I simply overwrite it as D. I'm going to hit Enter. I'm out of it. Come back in here. Now you see I'm still in the command. It's waiting for me to click on the next thing. It highlights it. That's E. Enter, come over here, and that should be, whoops, I've done these in the wrong order. That should have been D right there. Let me fix that. That should have been F right there. Let me fix that. And that should have been E right there. So you can see how easy it is to fix things. And that went a lot faster. If I hadn't made those mistakes, it went a lot faster than starting over from scratch for B, starting over from scratch. Go ahead and copy something easy all around and then go back in and change it. So there's that. Now let's do this one as well. I'm going to get out of the command and then get right back into it. I'm going to do single line. We're going to do these up here. So start point of text, I want it to start there. Specific height, I want it to be 3/16. So enter. Rotational angle, I want it to be 0. So enter again. And now you can see the cursor is flashing right there. So let's see how bad a typist I am. I'm going to type in polygons, ellipses, and arcs. I'm going to just type in one line at a time. So I'm done. So I hit enter and I hit enter again. Well, you can see it's almost correct. I didn't put underline in there. So if I double click on it, now if I right click, let's see what that gets me. Nope, that doesn't help me right there. I have to think of something else. So let's double click on it again. I'm going to select all of it. Well, I guess it is all selected. I'm going to select all of it like that. And then look what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here and right before the P in polygons, I'm going to type %. And let me type that. Where is that key right there? There it is above the 5. %. And now I'm going to type in a U. And you can see that % goes away, and that's left behind. This is a very old-fashioned way of doing things. I think when I first started out doing this 20 years ago, we might have had to do that. But since then, they've made it a little bit easier. So I don't usually, if I've got to do something strange to it, like bold it or put italics or underline, I'm not going to use the single line command. The command I'm going to use is this one down here. This is, let me get out of the command, this is the multiline text. And that one works if you've done PowerPoint, if you've done Word. This is how this one works. I go up here to Annotation Panel. I go up here to Multiline Text, and it's going to just draw me a box. So I'm going to draw me that box right there. And now I'm going to type this in. Now I'm going to mess with this just a little bit. And I'm going to start typing that in. And I want it to say this lesson, let me type for a second, teaches us more commands. Sometimes it is efficient to use TEXT, and so forth. Now, one thing, I'm going to keep typing on that. The one thing I want it to do is, one thing that's different from a single line text is if I hit enter, I'm just going to make that box longer and longer, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to backspace until that's gone. The way I want to get out of the command is I have to come up here. Notice this ribbon up here? I can do a lot inside there. I can change the size of it. Right now it's 3/16. Maybe I want to change that to 0.5. That's 0.5 of an inch. And you can see it makes it a lot bigger right there. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go back to 3/16. It's sitting in there. There it is right there. Let's go back to 3/16. I'm still in there. And there's other things you can do here. Now let's say I want to get out of this and I want to start to adjust it. What I do up here is, like I said, if I keep hitting enter, this is going to get longer. I'm going to come up here and say close text editor. Close text editor. And now you can see this isn't quite right. I want your paragraph, when you practice this, I want it to look exactly like this. I want it to be centered, and I want it to say, this lesson teaches us more, skip the next line, commands. Sometimes it is skip, efficient to use text, blah, 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 skip all the way down to there. And that's easy enough. I can simply click on it once. I can grab that little directional grip right there, and I can pull it over. So it's almost right there. But you can see this is left justified. I want this to be center justified. In that case, I need more than grips. Let me double click on it now. When I double click, see, this pops up here. Now I have to select everything that I want to be justified. Like I said, this is center justify, this is left justify, This is what I want right here. I want that to be center justified. Then go on and keep typing in here. I want you to adjust it back and forth. So you can do it this way too. I'm going to go back and forth. I want that paragraph to look exactly like that. We'll need to make those adjustments as we work along. So that is pretty much everything about single line and multi-line text. Again, I usually use single line when I'm just going to be putting in letters. If I have to do something fancy, it's just easier to do something with multi-line. And didn't show you this, let me double click on it again. Look at that. I could have, if I'd done those, I can underline things, I can overline things, I can make superscripts and subscripts, I can do all sorts of things. I can strike through it. So multi-line text, usually that's the way to go unless it's maybe single letters. So that's the end of that particular instruction right there. When we're done, I'd like you to draw all these things. You just needed to watch me do that, this extend exercise, but you can do that for play. There's no particular measurements there. When you're done, I'd like you to go in and do the examples. Here's examples 2 and 3. This is create yourself a box. You know how to do that with rectangle. And then see if you can do this very, very simple array right there. That's a rectangular one. And then over here, draw yourself, I get all the directions here, draw yourself a little, the pentagon right there. The pentagon is inscribed in a 0.5 circle, 0.5 diameter circle. Ooh, I'm trying to trick you, 0.5 diameter circle. And then you're going to go ahead and see if you can array it 1, 2, 3 times. I really would like you to practice that. If you can get these 2 things, you're pretty good with arrays. Then when you're done, there's 2 more examples. This one, it's pretty large. If it looks a lot bigger, it is. It's, how big is it? Yeah, it's a radius of 20, right? Well, no, that's just a radius there. How big is this? Oh, right here. This circle right here has a diameter of 120. So yes, it's a lot bigger than the exercise we just did. So draw that, and then see how you can array something with only having to draw it a few times. Like if I were drawing this, I'd draw this arm right here. And you can figure out where the circle is. You can figure out how to draw these lines. Then trim those up and see if you can just draw this one thing and array it however many times you think that needs to be arrayed. Draw this circle once and then array it around. Then you've got this semicircle right here, which has been trimmed away. You've got that little piece. You know how to draw those kind of circles. I don't want to give you too much heads up. I want to see if you can figure this one out. Go back all the way to lesson 1 to get all those commands. Then this one is really fun. This is an array. You can see I highlight it. The whole thing highlights. That shows it's an array. The directions say draw a circle of diameter 120. You can figure out, I want you to try to figure out how to divide it into 24 segments. And then I want you to see the fewest number of lines you need to draw. Over here, I unarrayed this. I exploded it. Like, look, here's the smallest line here. Is that segment right there. And then the next one goes between 2 objects from here to here. The next one from there to there. The next one goes between 3 objects from there to there. 4 objects from there to there. I want you to draw as few lines as possible to go ahead and use an array and create that one. So that is the end of arrays. I'm sorry, that is the end of this particular lesson. Let's see, you're going to draw this with me and then draw these other examples. You're going to go ahead and do this lettering right here, and that should be it. That's the end of all of lesson 5s, and I will see you for lesson number 6. Take care.